Hi everyone, it's Rob Watson, the module leader for TECH2503. Is that the module? Must be the module. Where's my printout of the slides? There we go. 2503 Community Media Production. Sorry, I knew I had them. I've done the PowerPoint presentations. There's some clips and some diagrams, so I don't share the PowerPoint presentation, but the notes, they've been posted up onto they will be posted up shortly onto the DMU Commons wiki. The topic that we're going to look at this week is the idea of community media and the way it integrates with social policy. And particularly we're going to look at the idea of healthcare as an example of a kind of set of practices that can aid community development and ask the question really how community media can aid the development of kind of better health outcomes for individuals and communities. So the idea is to think, we're starting off with the concept of what's called the spirit level idea. Sorry, the fire alarm's just going off. I'll leave it for a second. I could restart, but I figure I don't really want to. Go on, turn off. Be off in a second, unless the building's on fire. There we go, it's gone. Okay, so it's we start off by looking at the idea of what's called the spirit level, which is a debate that suggests that societies that are more unequal, have higher levels of pronounced inequality, are less productive, less efficient, and they suffer from lower levels of growth because access to healthcare, access to social resources, access to social capital is restricted to a small number of people at the top end of society, and lots of other people fall out of the below the safety net or through the safety nets, and so you end up doing is spend a lot of your time picking up the pieces and repairing things that you shouldn't have let fall apart in the first place. So it's the idea of that health inequalities are kind of defined by the way that we access healthcare, but also by a set of political objectives. And these objectives differ in their output or their outcome for different parts of our community. So, for example, there are gender-related differences where women have a different expectation and a different experience of healthcare. Likewise, people of differing social classes, manual labourers or professional executives, if you like, have a completely different life expectancy and a completely different experience of well-being, and the life chances that they have are completely different. And this is kind of related to a sense of kind of which we've discussed in the past about atomization and fragmentation, but it's also related to things like differences based around ethnicity. So there's a kind of a sense that there's kind of not just cultural differences, but there's also kind of an inbuilt racism to the forms of health provision. Now the question is, what can community media do to help and assist with this? So we can look at how we can reconfigure or rethink through our sense of community, both in terms of its social and economic circumstances, but also in terms of its civic participation circumstances. So the kind of sense that we address inequalities through and the stress of modern life by encouraging people to converse and to discuss and to identify as communities and through community media as a tool, as one tool in terms of their empowerment to a better sense of well-being. This isn't without contest, though. There is kind of different attitudes towards how we can think about these, what produces these differences of outcome. And there's a kind of political division between those people who see it as a kind of structural and integral part of modern capitalism, if you like, and there's those people who see health and well-being as a purely personal and almost a kind of moral responsibility that each individual has to look after themselves. But what we want to do is look at where there's a kind of an intermixing of these ideas and how they're discussed through community media and in community media practices. So can community media, I suppose is the question, contribute towards improvement in living standards, improvement in health awareness, health literacies? Can people who the community development practices that we've been talking about in previous weeks, can they contribute to a greater sense of empowerment and a greater sense of inclusion and participation? So that's what we'll cover in the lecture. As I say, there's some clips, some video clips that I'll play as we discuss the different topics. The reading for this week is chapter 10 of the May book, which is Helen Jones and the Health Inequalities chapter. But there's also an article, an online article, which I've linked to, which is a kind of history of community development work in the UK and kind of what the background is to some of the different debates and the way that community development has, if you like, it was popular in the 70s and then it kind of was eliminated or downgraded in the 1980s, and subsequently we don't really have a strong tradition anymore of kind of community development as being at the heart of policy planning and service engagement, if you like. I haven't got any viewing at this point, but I'll have a think and I'll post something up and let you know what that is on Thursday at the lecture. So I'll see you then.